Hey, hi there. This is Murali Sundaram, your happiness coach. Thank you very much for joining today's Facebook Live with one of the India's leading executive corporate coach, Mohamed Nassar. He's also the executive director for BNI Coimbatore. Okay, so before I put him onto the screen so that we can ask him lots of questions and learn from this master storyteller, I would like each one of you just showing up onto this. So I would request you guys just to share your name, the city you're from, and if you're part of a BNI, just mention the chapter and the region you're from so that we all will know where are you from. So I will also put you on the screen. And today is going to be a very, very interesting day because with Nasser, we are going to discuss some of the common challenges that each and every business owners are facing in our day-to-day life. So we are going to ask him lots of questions. So I have prepared lots of questions to ask, and he has happily consented to share his knowledge and wisdom with all of us today. And in the meanwhile, if you guys have some questions to ask, you can also post these questions below so that I can also put the questions on your behalf to Nasser. So, but before I will first start probing him in the beginning, and then I will post your questions also. So, in the meanwhile, if you've just joined me, just put in your name, the city, and if you're a BNI member, just mention which BNI member. So, thank you, Kalpesh, the executive director from BNI Baroda, joining us. Thank you very much. Anita Lakshmi, thank you for joining from Dynamic Coimbatore. Hi, Pradeep from Chennai CBD region, Dollars chapter. Thank you for joining. So we have lots and lots of BNI members joining today. Thank you very much. Just go ahead and mention us, okay? Because today is going to be a very interesting topic of 5 ways to grow our business. So are you guys ready to introduce our guest for the day? Okay, I have, before I put, I think I have Praveen from BNI Kings, Chennai. Thank you very much. Thank you. See, guys, if you're watching the Facebook Live or even the recorded version, just go ahead and put in your name, your city where you're from. And if you're a BNI member, just mention the city you're from. So thank you very much, Aparna, joining us from Calicut. Thank you very much for joining. So without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to our special guest of honor, Mohamed Nasser. Nasser, welcome to our show today. Thank you very much for joining, Nasser. You are live now.
Thank you very much, Murali, and welcome to all of you. I'm very happy to be part of this small interview session.
Thank you, Nasser, for accepting the invitation and joining us today. We have lots and lots of business owners joining us live today, and so today the whole objective of this particular talk is to share some of your perspective, your wisdom, and your experience with respect to the business community. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and probably at the end of it, I will leave the question answer session with some of our audience who wants to also ask you some questions. Are you okay to answer all the questions, Nasser?
Absolutely. No problem.
Thank you. So, Nasser, I know you that you are an amazing, very, very successful executive director from BNI Coimbatore. So can you just quickly share with us, when did you start, how big is the region, so that everyone, and how much business is done in the last few years, so that we all will get to know who you are as people are joining us, Nasser?
Yeah, see, BNI Coimbatore is about 6-year-old now, and we just finished about a couple of months after 6 years. So we have currently close to about 705 members, and the thank you for closed business is somewhere around 2,100 crores.
Wow.
2,100 crores so far.
Okay.
That's what is
2,100 crores. Wow. Yeah. Seriously. Oh, that's an amazing effort that you have put in to help the entrepreneurs of Coimbatore generate 2,000 plus crores of business. Thank you, Nasser. Thank you. That's really, I think I ought to have to say, wow, whoever is watching, because you have been instrumental in creating 2,000 crores of business. Thank you. That too directly, and I know that as an executive coach, indirectly would have contributed a few more thousands of crores indirectly by coaching many of the corporate. Am I right in saying you're also a corporate executive coach working with large companies? What do you do there?
Yeah, see, basically we are running a company called E2EX, right? And this is a 21-year-old company, and we have about 3 offices in India and 1 in Qatar. So what we do is we do 3 things. One is we have a corporate event company. The second division of ours is basically into interior designing. That's basically the exhibition trade booth, not for the other interiors, but exclusively the exhibition stall designing and execution.
Okay.
The third division is corporate consulting and corporate training and, of course, executive coaching. That's what
Wow.
we do. And this is
Okay.
what we've been doing for the last 21 years. And some of the businesses that we have mentioned just now in events and exhibitions and all, they're highly people-intensive business. And so unlike the other people, I wear multiple hats. I am an entrepreneur, I'm an executive director, I'm also one of the leading sales manager of the company. Uh,
Okay. Excellent.
and of course, a consultant, a corporate trainer, and an executive coach, part of the ICF and things like that.
Wow. I think you're wearing multiple hats. I'm sure that every day you are dealing with lots and lots of challenges in your business life and helping
Yes,
business leaders, corporate leaders. So just to quickly start the whole discussion, Nasser, because you have been directly helping lots and lots of business owners, you are talking to corporate leaders. What are the challenges have you seen with some of the business leaders in the current society? What are the common challenges that you're facing right now? People have expressed to you.
yeah. See, basically, as I told you, since I wear multiple hats, some of the challenges
Okay.
that the other business owners are facing is pretty much the same business challenges I also face as an organizational head.
Okay.
So, if you really
Okay.
look at it broadly, I would like to classify these challenges into three different categories. So, the number
Okay.
one challenge is all the business owners. Basically, most of us are, we call ourselves an entrepreneurs, but technically speaking, we are all self-employed. We keep working for ourselves every single day. So
Very true.
there's a
Very,
lot of,
we call ourselves business owner, but predominantly most of them are
yeah,
business operators.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're not business owners. Business owner is someone who actually invests money and stays away from the business. The business keeps generating
Correct.
money for him. Somebody like Warren Buffett. So whereas
Yes.
we don't do that actually. So we go to the work and we are the first person to go to the office and the last person to get out of the office. So that's what we
Absolutely.
typically do. That's what we typically do. So if you really look at, I would probably broadly classify the challenges of current business. I'm talking of predominantly the small, medium
Okay.
entrepreneurship kind of a company, anywhere between 20 employees up to 1,200 employees. I would probably put into that
Okay.
particular bracket at one particular level. So the beyond that, it's a different challenges. It's all about stakeholder management, enhancing the shareholder value, and that's the board. That's different thing altogether. But if you look at
Okay.
our kind of a segment, primarily
Okay.
the challenges lies in three different things. One, of course, we don't have a control on three things. One, of course, we don't have control on the time. We don't know what time
Okay.
we're starting. We cannot follow a routine. There are a lot of contingency every single day. Even though we
Okay.
plan, we organize, we put everything in calendar, but things are
Okay.
not happening. So that is one thing. The second lack of control that we have is about the market today. The current market scenario, the number
Hmm.
of people coming in the business, number of people going out of business, the kind of
Okay.
disruptions happening in the marketplace today. So many people
Okay.
go out of business, and if you really
Okay.
look at it, it's very very challenging today. Though we don't absolutely no control on what's happening in the market.
Absolutely.
One
Absolutely.
technological innovation can just vanish the businesses that happens for
Oh, very
generations
true.
or years
Very true.
together.
Very
So that's the
true. Very true.
second thing that I'm talking about. The third thing is whatever may be the size of your company, you don't have a control on a lot of things inside the company itself. You don't have a control on the people. You don't have control on the information that you're looking out for. You wanted to
Hmm.
get some papers, it's not available. You want something to
Okay.
happen, it's not available. So it's everything available on your head, but it is actually not put into process, and you don't really get the kind of a data that you want. So this is the first
True.
thing that I'm talking about, the lack of control. The second thing that I'm talking about is anything to do with people,
Okay.
handling people. This really frustrates us. When I say people, there are three levels of people I'm talking about. One, of course, the employees that we have in our organization. The second thing
Okay.
that we're talking about is the suppliers or the vendors that we have, the service
Okay.
partners that we are associated with. That's also a people. They are
Okay.
also fall into this particular category. The third one I'm talking about is the customers. So these three people are really gonna give us a run for our money. So these are the three people.
Either they are happy, they are frustrated, any one of them.
Yeah. See, people management is very difficult. Few years back, there was a study done in some organization. They came out with what are the two different types of problem that happens in an organization, and they
Okay.
came up with two results. One is problem related to machine. And the
Okay.
second one is problem related to people. So problem related to machines is very easy to fix. Problem
Okay.
related to people, nobody knows how to handle them. Nobody know what a one particular human being is thinking, What are you thinking at this point of time? I don't have any control. So one phone call can make you happy, one phone call can make you sad. So absolutely, people management it's like it's basically an art. Okay. The third thing that I want to talk about, is the feeling of getting stuck. We always have this feeling of getting stuck. Again, I would like to probably classify into three things. One is, of course, profits. We don't get enough profit. So there's no profit. Everywhere there is competition. You give a quotation for something, another guy is putting 20% lesser than that, or whatever it is. You really cannot fight on the profits today. Profits are getting eroded every single day. The second thing is that company wants to go to the next level, but somehow they have a feeling, oh my God, where is the growth going to come in? Have I really hit the roof? Is that growth possible? And things like that. So that is the second thing. The third thing is nothing is happening, nothing is working, nothing is really working. What do I do? What do I need to do? People are at the crossroad. Do I need to go and come up with some strategy, or I look at some tactical issue? So most of the people fall into the trap and they get into the tactical issue, because you have a problem to solve on that particular day, you solve it.
True,
so,
very true.
Broadly speaking, these are the three challenges, according to me, that I've come across myself, as well as many entrepreneurs that I work in India and Middle East.
Okay, wow. That's a huge exhaustive list, Nasser. What you said is lack of control, number one. Okay, if I understand. And the second one is people-related problem, probably the frustrated vendors, frustrated employees, frustrated clients. Or the number three you're talking about on a major level is feeling of getting stuck. These are some of the three challenges right now, as you mentioned, small and medium entrepreneurs are going through. So I think that's a fantastic sharing from you guys. Before I go into the next question with you, I just want all the viewers also to share what are the problems that you are facing what are the various challenges that you are facing in your business. So if you can just quickly share, just type in the challenges you're facing. Probably I can also ask Nasser, and how do you get out of this? Would you guys interested to learn how to get out of such challenges in your business life? If you are really interested, apart from these three, if you think, or if you're okay with these three, that if you agree with Nasser that he has lack of control, people-related problems, or feeling of getting stuck is your major problem, you can also comment on that. Or if you have any other reasons, in your business where you are facing as a challenge, you can also share those challenges. And probably before the show ends, let me check with Nasser, ask him his perspective of how do we handle it. So I have the first question to you, Nasser, from one of our viewer, Anand Patil, who's asking, customers not paying in time is biggest challenge. Okay, how do you handle that? Okay, is it okay to take on a question now? First question, is that okay, Nasser, with respect to the challenges?
No, we can take it. It depends on how you wanted to handle it. So you want me to answer it right now? We'll finish and then take it later.
Okay, no problem. We can actually go at the end of it. Probably, I think when you share some of the strategies, some of the questions can be answered by that time. Let's wait for some of the, let me wait for your answers, your strategies of how do you handle these challenges. And probably when you answer these challenges, most of the questions will be answered. So some of the questions, I'm just going to put the questions to you so that you also know. And probably maybe one of our friends says customers not paying on time. Marketing is a challenge. And GST sitting on everybody's head, and customers are not paying. Customer want to have an item, and after delivery they forget to pay. Okay, correct. And Seshadri is talking about communication. Okay, that's the biggest challenge that we're facing is communication. So different varieties of challenges people are sharing. That firefighting, Hina Handa says that clients leave everything to the last minute, which is making it difficult to stay on schedule. So I'm going to ask you, okay, so is there a way in which you can get out of these challenges? What is your suggestion? How are you handling it? Because I know that you are doing multiple businesses, wearing multiple hats. I'm sure that all these challenges you have shared from your experience. So how can we manage it, Nasser? Can you share some light on this?
Yeah, please. See, basically, I mean, with due respect to all the questions that they've asked, these are some common challenges where the payment not getting done, quite a lot of things. But there are some companies, if you really look at the corporate companies or MNC companies, for example, Hindustan Lever or a Pepsi for that matter, will they give one bottle of Pepsi outside the unit where it gets produced without paying money to them?
No, I don't think so.
This is the question that I want to leave you with. So the thing is, we are so desperate, we need to change our thinking. if a client comes in front of us, we are so desperate and we forget everything and we promise the moon and sky and whatnot. So because we wanted to get the business done, and then you sign a contract and then you start thinking about, oh my God, what did I do?
True.
So that is the way that's one of the things that we need to probably shift our focus on. Okay.
Okay.
And quite a lot of other things that you're talking about, the clients are coming up with last moment, various things. But if you really look at all of us individually, each one of us as a client, there are certain places where we also go stand in a queue. We also we also probably dance to their tune because we don't have any other option. So
correct.
Because the company who's actually providing the service or product to us, they have a very clear agenda about what they do, how they go about doing it, what are the terms and conditions they give, quite a lot of stuff. Okay, so we just have to follow that. There's absolutely no other way we can say no to them. Okay, so I mean, we will probably, each one of the questions probably will take about 15-20 minutes to really give those answers. In terms of payment is basically universal problem that these countries, governments, even a place like Dubai, you get order today afternoon. I was on a call with somebody. They said any amount of billions of dollars of business you'll get, but the government requires 18 months to 24 months to pay you. Are you ready to do work?
Seriously, 24 months.
Yeah. So I said thank you very much. So this happens to Dubai government. So you can imagine what are the other things. Anyway, now coming back to summarize these challenges and how do we go about handling it. I just come up with this 5-point practical strategy that we can probably implement it. Most of the questions that we have actually they have written down or asked for will get covered in this particular questions that we are going to. I mean, the points that we're going to discuss right now. In case if it is still not answered, then I will be definitely open to answer some of the questions. So to start with, see, these are challenges that everybody go through. See, there are different stages of business. There is the first stage is called the incubation stage. The second one is called the implementation stage. The third one is called the eminence stage, the growth and beyond, or what we call it as the hockey stick growth. So to give you this example, I would like to probably take you about one of the examples of one company. Everybody knows about Walmart. Walmart is one of the largest retail chain in the world. I guess they're close to about 7,900 outlets in the world. Each outlet is close to about 8 football ground size. And the number of trolleys in the Walmart in US, if you look at it, it will definitely be higher than any airports in US airports. So that's the kind of a size that we're talking about. But if you really look at Walmart, when it was started way back about 40-50 years back. I don't know exactly. It's by a gentleman called Sam Walton. He borrowed money from his father-in-law, and then he started with some few friends. That's typically like any startup. They go to all these friends, family, fools, and things like that. So somehow he started this business. But when he started the business, it took for the first outlet to get established. It took almost 7 years for them to get it established. For the next 25 years, he started 35 outlets. So the first 7 years, I'm talking about the implementation stage. The next 25 years, incubation stage is the first stage. The second stage I'm talking about is the implementation stage. The third I'm talking about is eminence. So to give you this number, the first outlet took almost 7 years. The next 25 years, they've started 35 outlets. On the 26th year, they started 1,000 outlets. Okay, so that's the kind of data that we're looking at. If this applicable, there is a beautiful book by name Entrepreneurial Genius. If you look at it, that particular book covers all these stories of Walmart and Ford, all the major 20-30 brands in the world. So how they have started. So every company, typically, they go from establishing 7 years to go to the next level. It almost takes about 15 to 18 to 21 years. Even if you look at Facebook or Google for that matter, when was the day that they started? If you look at Facebook from Howard, it's just a student gathering website, and it became bigger. So from that day till today, so the number of years that took was very, very high. So having said that, so this is something which everything takes time. It's not just rich by overnight. You can't be a billionaire overnight. So
absolutely.
So that is the first thing. So this is something which we need to keep in mind. So right now, in every stages, people go by their lot of learnings. There are good, bad, ugly lessons that they've learned, and they correct it, and they can revamp it, and they go out. That's how all the entrepreneurial driven organizations are built around the world, and close to about 80% of the companies around the world are family run companies. So it's all built like that, so that's how it goes. So to summarize, I just wanted to tell the audience in terms of the people in the live session right now on the 5 different parameters. First one is that we need to set and reset priorities. What exactly we want? Are we wanted to? Do we need to really keep doing firefighting on a day-to-day basis, or what kind of an organization that we need to build? Where am I going to spend my time, money, and energy into? So are we going to really keep doing this every single day, or what is that you wanted to do? So that is the first thing that we need to look at it. Excellent. So what kind of organization that you wanted to build? So, and whatever you're doing currently, so people are doing business for the sake of doing, because it started by his great grandfather. So he wanted to continue the business just because they have an emotional attachment for that. So things like that has to be very, very important. So you need to understand, why are you doing business? Why are you doing what are you doing? Like the Simon Sinek's video talks about, start with why. So what is the purpose of doing business? Is it just to keep you busy, or are you really serious about making money? So there's an anonymous quote which says, any damn fool can start a business, but it requires genius to make money.
Absolutely true. I love that quote which you just mentioned.
So you need to be very, very clear about why are you in the business, what you need to do. So another thing is, this emotional attachment is actually pulls us down. So you do some homework, think about it, be with your mentor, get some coaching done, whatever you want to do, you do it. But please enlist what is the priority for you right now in your business, work, life, everything put together. So that is something which is the first thing that I want to talk about. The second thing that I want to talk about, second 2, 3, 4 is actually, I have this concept of the acronym called IDEA. So I want to run these remaining 4 things on this acronym called IDEA. So the first thing that I would be talking about is imagination. So sky is a limit. So if you talk about anything that we are using, whether the live interview session that we are having, the Facebook that we're using, the phone that we're using, all the technology, artificial intelligence, everything, it's all started by one single human being. There will be somebody, it is not existing anybody's mind except the person who actually finds it out or invents it out. So even though we enjoy all these facilities, it is, even though we can't compare the fast of an artificial intelligence or the speed of the computer, you name whatever it is, but it's all eventually invented by one single human being, or maybe a multiple human beings. So that means the power of human is very, very high. So anything and everything is possible. So you need to imagine, you need to think about everything that can be done. So I want to have a small story here. One of the very inspiring story from one of my clients from Dubai.
I know that you are a master story. I know that, Nasser, you are a master storyteller. So all the audience are waiting for some interesting stories. Go ahead, Nasser.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this imagination. There's this company which is in Dubai. It's called Western International Group. They are about $3.5 billion company and a zero debt company. The company doesn't owe any money to anybody. So that's
good.
But if you really look at it, who's the founder of this company? An Indian. We all have to be proud. I mean, a lot of this Middle East country has got so many Indians, and each one of them have got some amazing story. But this gentleman, actually, if you can really, they are into consumer durable company. They manufacture electronic products. It could be TV or refrigerators of that sort. So their competitors for this particular companies are not small. It's all from Samsungs and Sonys and things of that sort. So this gentleman started in a very humble way, and he called his brand as G-Pass. Now, if you really look at it, what is this G-Pass? And all the B schools, to challenge those B schools' way of thinking. There's something called branding, and every organization, Kellogg on branding, Walton on branding, Howard on branding. There are quite a lot of books available on branding, and every university breaks their head on branding. And this gentleman comes and gives a name called G-Pass and becomes a $3 billion company. I asked him, what is this? Whatever you have done is something amazing. And it's all big volumes of books and universities and PhDs on branding. He said, thank God I didn't know about it. So if you really look at
it, because he didn't knew about it, he made it big.
Of course. So now, if you really look at it, what is this word called G-Pass? G-E-E-P-A-S, and there's no meaning towards it. I asked him, how did you name this? He said he was having a small shop in Bahrain, with about 4 to 8 square feet tall, shop in Bahrain, a country called Bahrain. It's a very small country. And he was selling all those torchlights and this tape recorder, all those people who come from Dubai or any Gulf country, they bring all this torchlight and this National Panasonic one tape recorder and all that. So this gentleman was selling, and one fine day, one of his sponsors, the sheikhs, actually asked him to come along with him to go to China. So they went to China. They saw China was just coming up. That time, China was about 2 trillion economy at that point of time. Now they are about 10 to 12 trillion economy. So they were just coming up, and all this manufacturing was happening. So he went around, he saw those factories, and he thought, okay, why don't I import this torchlight? So that's how he started. So his mentor advised him, Bahrain is a small place, why don't you go to Dubai? So he went to Dubai, started a company, and then started importing these products. And 6 months, he put it in a pickup truck. He went around the marketplace, started giving those products. In the evening, he goes by, collects the money, and that's how he started. After 6 months, like everybody else, he also faced the competition. Like everybody else also started bringing the same product. And that's how the need for branding came in. So that's how he started this branding called G-Pass. And then rest, they say, is history. So the question here is, it's all about imagination. It's all about the gut feeling. So one of the companies that they have is a hypermarket. It's called Nesto Hypermarket. So his son is now from Harvard, and he is now getting into the business in full streams. All their brothers, sons are also getting into the business. So his son was mentioning, my dad was writing in a paper which said, we will open 100 stores in the next so many years. This was about 10, 12 years back. To be precise, somewhere around 16 years back. So today, if you look at it, and people didn't believe, his own son did not believe him. Okay. So he said, we will open 100 stores. But right now, if you look at it, they are almost 71 stores right now.
Wow. Okay.
So the question here is, it's all in our head. As an entrepreneur, we have to have this bigger vision. So imagine that anything and everything is possible. It's all up to you to take it and take it to the next level. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Amazing story. So first thing you said is set priorities. Okay, just to sum up. And the second one is imagination and vision. Wow, fantastic. Yeah. So what's the third one? The idea that D stands for?
The third one is something which is, I call it as drive, drive to make it happen. The problem with the entrepreneurs, one day we are so supercharged, we have got some orders, the customers are happy. The next day morning, we are getting a call from the customer saying they're not happy, they will not pay you. So there is our motivation.
A lot of questions are all based on payments. What is going to happen? Okay.
So the motivation goes down on every single day. We as an entrepreneurs go through so many challenges, and every single day we have this feeling, why the hell am I getting into this? Why should I continue this? It's might as well go and get some job or leave something or put the whatever money that we have in the bank or mutual fund. Why do we need to do all this? So this is something which keeps coming.
Okay.
So a lot of people, what do? They quit and then they go back. So if you really look at some of the stories, again, I want to bring you another story from Gulf. So because I like those Gulf entrepreneurs because they take a lot of risk. Nothing will be in their name. It'll all be in some sponsor's name. On one fine day, the sponsor says, get out of the country. They don't have any other option. They have to just get out of the country.
Yeah, it's very tough.
So many risks they've taken. So one of another entrepreneurs, he is also into some department stores, and they do some chip channeling and all those products they supply to ship, and they do some wholesale food stuff and things like that. So this gentleman started a business. He was working along with his uncle. He was working along with his uncle as a working partner. And after some time, there's some kind of a, partnership business doesn't end well. So they had some issue, they have dispute. So what his uncle did? His uncle went and banned him, because in Qatar you can do that. You can make people not to come into the country for 2 years, 3 years, like that. But right now, it's actually, from 2018, November, it's removed. Nobody can ban anybody. But that time, it was not the case. So he was banned. And this guy was literally on the street. He didn't know anything he didn't have anything to do, no company, no business. But what he did is, he went to Dubai. And from Dubai, you can go on a visit visa. Nobody can stop you going on a visit visa. So this gentleman was going on every week. Friday, he'll Friday evening or Saturday evening he'll leave, and Sunday morning they go to Qatar, work for about 5 days, again go back to Dubai, again come back. So this is how he was literally building a business from scratch. and then started a lot of things. In about 7 to 8 years time, he was able to really rebuild a business with a lot of other areas of operation with close to about 3,000 employees. So what I would say is, yeah. So I'm just taking this example because banning somebody or barring somebody to do business, enter into the country, what more challenge you can see? Compare all the other challenges is actually nullified in front of such a big challenge, right? So
Absolutely.
So what I would say is to get out and get going. Even you will have challenges. You'll be mentally prepared about the challenges. It's something like you already know that the road that you're taking will have bumpy. You have so much of potholes. Once you know this, you'll be mentally ready for it, right? So, I mean that's something which I want to talk about it on this third thing that I'm talking about. The next thing that I'm going to talk about. Yeah, go ahead, Murali.
No. What you're saying is, if you have the drive to get it done, you can overcome any challenge. If, in a nutshell, if I have to tell from your story,
Absolutely.
so if you
Absolutely.
have the drive, anyone can achieve anything and everything, and that's a fantastic story, Nasser. I think
Yeah.
most of the questions can be answered with this if they have the drive. If an entrepreneur has the drive to get things
Yeah.
done, to achieve whatever he is decided to achieve, and he
Yeah.
will always achieve it. That's a beautiful story. Thank you very much for a brilliant story. And so let's hear two more, because I'm so eager now to hear the rest two ideas from your side. So
Okay,
what is the fourth one?
the fourth one is about execution. So people have a lot of plan, people think a lot, people imagine, but where we fail is the execution part of it. Okay.
Okay.
So execution can be put in simple. There are a lot of books about it. There is a famous book by Ram Charan on execution is a very good book. But some of the
True.
new book that I picked up, it's called Strategy That Works. Okay, so he had explained it in a very simple term. What he says is, strategy is all about planning. Execution is all about capability building.
Okay.
So it's
That's
very
very
simple.
interesting.
I mean, very, very simple. So strategy is all the plan that we have. Execution
Okay.
is about how to make the plan work. So you have to build your capability. You have to make sure your people's capabilities are built in. So you need to build that muscle. You need to go to gym, start building those muscles. The same way, how can you build this execution muscle in you? So that's what is all about execution. So create a roadmap. That is what is the plan is all about. How do you implement those plans? What are the capabilities that you need to build in order to get things done? So in this, there are quite a lot of stories, but I would probably like to tell you about one of the stories that I would like to talk about. When you're looking at execution, you need to have the Westerners talk about pig-headed discipline. That means, like pig, your head should be down and should be focused on that, right? So
Okay.
that's the word that they use, the Westerners in the book. So I would like to probably talk about one of the shops in one of the Middle East country. It's basically he
Okay.
sells only tea. He
Okay.
sells tea in different varieties, multiples
Mhm.
of chai, masala chai, this chai, that chai, everything.
Okay.
So this particular tea maker, if you look at it, he's not educated guy. He wears a white dhoti, white shirt. He's got about 40 to 50 outlets. It's called Tea Time. The shop is called Tea Time. Okay. Now you see
Okay.
a whole lot of cars on the street, whether it is Rolls Royce or anything for that matter. They'll be
Okay.
there in front of the street, and then they start having this tea. So this gentleman, if you really look at it, he may not speak good English. He may not have hi-fi laptop operating skill or maybe the application. He may not understand what is artificial intelligence, but he understands
Okay.
how to make money.
Okay.
So he is focused on how to make money. He's not getting distracted with so many things. One of the things that all of us need to
Okay.
understand today is that there is this beautiful book called Irresistible, right? In that Irresistible,
Irresistible. Huh? Oh
yeah.
my.
So in Irresistible, it's all about distraction. The generation that we are having right now, whether it is you or me or the student or anybody, the number one problem for all of us is handling distraction, whether it is in the form of WhatsApp or Facebook or things like that. So
Absolutely.
when it comes to execution, you need to be absolutely focused on what are the things that we need to do. How can we
Okay.
build a store from one to another? So when I was casually talking to this gentleman through my friend, I don't know him directly. So he said, we have to give quality product and ensure that every single employees in the company understand that. And then you start
Mhm.
doing it, putting heart and soul into it. You do that one, and it's very easy to multiply. As simple
Okay.
as that.
Okay.
Right? So That's what the third thing is all about. So you need to build capability for yourself and build capability for the team around you. The last and most important thing is my favorite, actually. So this is about how can you align your vision to your team.
Wow. Okay.
It's all
Yeah,
about
if they're
alignment.
not having your vision, then how are you going to execute it? Beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely,
Fantastic.
absolutely. See, now that we are having this wonderful conversation, I'm getting some lot of inputs from the form of a feedback. And whenever we meet outside this, we also pick each other's brain, and we really get motivated. And you wanted to go to the next day and start your
Absolutely.
business and build a $5 billion company or $5 million company. And you go with the same motivation on Monday morning to the office. And one guy, the most important, more key person in your company, comes and tells you, sir, he wants to leave at 5 o'clock. How will you feel? You are supercharged, and your guy is actually not ready to listen to you, or he's got his own priority. So that is one. Second thing is, I have this friend of mine who runs a big export company in Tirupur. He says, Nasser, Monday morning we come with so much of charge. You call up somebody on the intercom and ask him, how are you, man? That fellow on the other side of the phone, he says, oh, yes, sir, tell me, sir. So by hearing that sound itself, you will
You
become
lose
sick. Yeah, you will become sick. So this is the kind of a people that we have, the bunch of jokers. We are actually running circus, that kind of a feeling they talk about. So it's very, very important to align our vision with the rest of the team. Okay, so if you really look at it, this is applicable to everybody. Whether you run a juice shop, you run a jewelry outlet, you run everything. Some of the outlets, if you really look at, there is one of the famous brands of jewelry here in India. In that particular, I don't know to name the brand. So this particular jewelry has got so many stores across the country. But if you really look at it, this company is also a zero debt company. Okay. Now, what do they do? What do they do? Every single city they go, they find out who is the most influential person who's got some PR connections and all that. Call that particular person and make him like, we want to start a business. Would you like to invest in the business? He says, no, I don't have much money. That's okay. Whatever money you have, you invest. So that guy becomes the director of that particular outlet in the local area. The corporate company funds some money and they bring in investors from various other sources. So each company is Dash Private Limited. The name of the company, Private Limited, Coimbatore. Dash Company, Private Limited, Salem. So if you really look at the corporate company is different and individual branch is also different. So if you really look at it, what kind of a visioning that they have? So that they're bringing in the local guy who's the face of the city and he gets connected with a lot of people around. So the business becomes automatically. So you don't have to really work towards the vision, right? We want to build this many number of outlets. You can endorse any celebrity. Each outlet is going to pay only 2 lakhs. If a celebrity is going to cost you 3 crores, 100 outlets, each one of them are going to give only 3 lakhs and they get a celebrity of whatever choice they want. So this is something as a part of an alignment towards what kind of business that you can get in. Another juice shop, a very famous juice shop in Abu Dhabi, basically. So what this guy does, he starts a juice shop, brings some real poor people or people who doesn't have much money, fully charged up, brings them and put them into the shop as an in-charge guy, builds around. It's a very small juice shop, not a big shop. In Abu Dhabi, they have close to about 40, 50 shops. So if you really look at it, each one of those guys he has set in a target. He starts a juice shop, be there about 6 to 8 months time. Once the juice shop is set in, they have a target, they have a break even. Once things are done, then he'll be slowly getting out of the shop and he'll not go to that particular shop. He'll keep monitoring. Of course, the systems are in place. So things like that. So automatically, that guy takes the ownership along with 2-3 other people. Slowly, after an outlet reaches a particular mark, the owner says, now you have to give me this much of money every single day. And if you can give this continuously for 6 months, you become a 30% stakeholder in the company. Then you become 40% stakeholder. Then you become a 40%. Then you become 50% stakeholder in a company. Like that, we started about 47 outlets in Abu Dhabi. So this is all about involving yourself and talking about it. Okay. So now before I conclude, I would probably like to give one more example, one more interesting story. Everybody knows about the sweet shop called Krishna Sweets, right?
Absolutely.
Sri Krishna Sweets. Yeah, it's from Coimbatore, right opposite to our old office actually. So if you really look at it, Krishna Sweets became famous only in the late 80s or maybe early 90s. but it was started in 1970s actually. So if you remember, Mysore Pak was considered to be very hard product those days. If anybody buys
you want to hit someone, they can actually buy that and throw it on someone.
It's like the old yellow brick, So
absolutely.
The smaller one, and people say if Mysore Pak is a passport to dentist.
So true.
So that's how it was called. That's how it was. So this gentleman came up, the second generation, he came up, he thought about it and said, why can't Mysore Pak be softer?
Yes.
So that is a shift. That's a shift. That's the kind of a creativity they made it. And with that innovation, the rest they say is history. So everybody start now. The whole world, the Mysore Pak is only sold soft. It's no more hard Mysore Pak you'll get.
Absolutely, that's true.
But again, I'm making this point because every business has got a stage, starting from 1970s or late 60s, and then where they are today. It's a huge journey. They have to pass through this incubation, implementation, and eminence. But every stage, you need to move out as an entrepreneur. You can't be doing the work of an entrepreneur at the incubation stage. As the things happen, you need to move out, find somebody else. Again, move out, find somebody else, because you need to be doing a broader picture. You need to build in proper system so that you can hand over to somebody else and keep moving.
Wow. That's absolutely brilliant sharing, Nassar. I think it was mind-blowing and spellbound, the way in which the stories come out of your mouth just like that. That's absolutely brilliant. I think everyone who's watching has been really blessed to have you today. I have a lot of questions being asked by many audience here. So right now, I'm going to allow some of the questions on the screen. Probably you can share your expertise and ideas on that. So guys, if you're just watching this video, if you have a question on how to grow your business, any challenges you have, just go ahead. And I'm going to ask some 4 or 5 questions to Nasser before I let him go. The first question is from Rahul Mota, who is asking a very interesting question. How to replace yourself in your business? He's asking
I'm very happy coming from our own BNI fraternity friend. Rahul runs a very successful region, and he has already done it, replaced himself with somebody else in the business. So all you need to do is being an entrepreneur. First thing that we need to do is we need to empty our head. When I say empty our head, because for all the problems in the business, only the founder or the co-founder knows the answer. And where is the answer? It is there in our head. So if you can just remove this, put it into your documentation, create 100 different FAQs and solutions for it, that's the first step to start with. So once you start doing this, you create your business and create a process flow for your business. And what from a customer says, okay, I want to give you this order, to getting executed and collecting money from there. What are the kind of a list of processes involved in your organization? And then for each process, the answer is there in your head, right? So you need to list down all those things that is in every single step. You list down all these things. You may not be able to give all of it one single go. Every single day, you fill up one process, hand over somebody else, fill up another process, hand over somebody, and things keep going. But there are certain key initiatives you still have to see. When you hand over somebody, it doesn't mean that you have to totally be going out of it. You should be involved in the business, but you should not be interfering in the business. There's a lot of difference, People say, okay, I just wanted to leave it.
Interfering in the business. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So when you have to give somebody the work, people say, I've given everything to them, and one fine day they come, oh my God, I've trusted one guy and they've started another company, something similar like that. Okay. So be involved. When I'm saying this, Santosh and I, my partner, we have many stories like this. We've just shared one of the good stories, all the good stories only here. Because
maybe another day we can do all the other bad stories also. One day we can.
That will be even more interesting than this.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so thank you for that brilliant answer.
Rahul, bye. You got the answer for that. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you the second question. What is the real growth of a company? Is it number of employees or brand familiarity or profits margin? So what exactly is real growth? Asked by Anita Rajalakshmi. So what would be your answer?
It's a very interesting question. But before we actually do this, you need to probably ask yourself, are your company growth ready? Okay. So if your company is not growth ready, if your company is not growth ready, all of it will probably, disturb. So if you ask this question, whether growing is good or bad, People will say, everything need to be growing. We need to do this. Definitely, growth is good, provided you're really equipped for it. For example, I'll give you an example. Now, for a small restaurant in a city, okay, this guy is selling not very famous restaurant, not very much of an interior. People go stand in a queue outside, they buy it, they eat. I'm sure every single city, every single town will have a joints like that, whether it could be a dosa joint or a pani puri joint or whatever it is. So if you really look at it, this guy wants to grow. So what he's doing is building up another place right next to it, investing a lot of money, doing all this interior, does everything. And then, he instead of selling a dosa for about $100, he sells it for $500. So what is he doing? He's actually scaling up the price, he's creating all of interiors and things like that. But at 500 rupee mark, people have got multiple options.
True.
They can go to another 5-star restaurant, where the service level is altogether in a different league altogether. So you need to be growth ready. When you're growing, you're entering into another competitive segment altogether. So you have to do a thorough assessment. There are about 15 different questions that you need to ask yourself, whether you're growth ready, whether why you need to grow, how you need to grow, how much you need to grow, when you need to grow, are you able to handle the scalability part of it. So there's a lot of questions. But if I have to answer you bluntly, you need to go back to the same question that I asked you in the beginning. Why are you in the business? If your answer is I want to make,
answer will come out.
So if your answer is to make more money, you're not very concerned about brand, you're not very concerned about employee, you're not very concerned about customer service, but you still can make money. Okay. So there are a lot of examples. I can tell you there is a retail, there is a food joint in E-Road. Being a JC trainer, people, when I go there as a trainer, they make sure that only Sunday morning this restaurant is open. I want you to come. They serve dosa with the non-veg gravy and all that. So I said, okay, fine. So I said, what is so heck about this, man? You're asking me to come at early 7:30 and we have to go early, otherwise we'll not get the food. I said, fine. I went there. Now, if you really look at it, that fellow was actually pouring some gravy on. They were just putting some gravy. I was tasting it. Then I asked him, sir, will I get the gravy more? He said, no, that person has to decide whether to give it to you or not. So if you really look at it, sir, don't look at him. Be very humble. Don't shout. This fellow will ask you to go out, and people are there waiting outside to just enter inside. So I asked him, what is this? So if you really look at it, on a scale of 1 to 5, how will you, or 1 to 10, if you're talking about this customer referability, the ultimate question and all that, will somebody refer in terms of customer service? Nobody can refer because there's no customer service in the outlet. But still people go there.
Okay.
Still people go there. So the question here is, Anita, to answer your question, if you really wanted to make money, if that is your agenda, all the other things may not necessarily be the growth factor. But if you really wanted to build a brand, it's up to you. Like, you need to ask yourself, what is your purpose of your organization? What is your vision, mission? So it depends on that. But to tell you that in a simple format, if your business is cash rich, your borrow is very less, and you can sleep comfortably, that's another indication of growth altogether.
Okay, wow. That's a very deep insight. I think you need to run a separate session on this particular angle. Thank you very much. I'm going to take another 2 or 3 more questions, though there are lots and lots of questions, Nasser. One interesting question is from Kalpesh Shah from Baroda. How to kill a competition when everything is the same what we do and our competitors are doing? So what is your understanding, or what's your perspective of competition, Nasser?
See, competition is a separate subject by itself and is very close to my heart. From 2004 onwards, I'm doing a lot of research on this, and I have multiple modules on that particular subject. So to give you a little simple insight, competition is good. Like, if you play a friendly match with any other opponent team, it doesn't excite. Whereas competition excites. You play for the cup, it excites you. There is some challenge in it. So it's exciting, it's challenging it. And it's definitely, so you and I are talking on this internet, on this live, with this technology, is because of competition. Otherwise, we will not be enjoying, we will not be having some 500 cars on the road today. You don't know whether, except the road traffic, the traffic signal, people jumping the traffic signal, and all the two-wheelers running here and there. You are as good as any other country today by seeing the number of cars on the road. It's as good as all the cars are available in India. But if there is no competition, we'll still be driving Bajaj, and we'll still be Bajaj, Chetak, or Super, whatever those days, and Ambassador and Fiat. And we still have to wait for 25 years to get the telephone connection. So competition is definitely good, but you need to ask yourself, who's your competitor? Where is this? So this famous example would be like, in a street, there are 10 different banks. Okay. And
Absolutely.
there are 10 different banks, and there are small banks, there are bigger banks. So if you go and ask one guy, let's say, for example, there is a bank and there is a B bank, and the D bank is the market leader in the country. Okay. So if you go and ask A bank, who's your competitor, that fellow will say D bank, which is State Bank of India, which is the market leader in the country. So he is not your competitor. Your competitor is right opposite to you. If B is your competitor. So you need to define who's your competitor. Is it direct competition or is it indirect competition? You need to go a little more deeper. For example, who's a competitor for Cadbury's? People will say Nestle, but it's actually not Nestle. It could be Haldirams, it could be Sri Krishna, it could be anybody. So you have to be very clear about who's your competitor, who's replacing your product. Okay, so that's the basic thing. So you need to narrow down on one particular point in terms of who exactly is your competitor.
Sometime before, I remember, Nassar, sometime before you even mentioned, in one of our discussion, you are telling that CEO of Netflix was asked who is your competition, and he just simply said the competition for me is people's laziness and their sleepiness.
Oh wow! Great, yeah.
That's very interesting perspective from your side. Okay, so I'm going to switch to another question. I know that competition is your favorite subject. I know you run a separate workshop on competition.
Maybe we could do another session on that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is where Mohamed Asif asking how to make our staff think equally as what we think. Very interesting question.
Very interesting question, but very difficult to answer.
I know that.
Because Asif, if they also think the way that you and I think, then they'll become entrepreneurs, not employees.
Absolutely true.
Very difficult. I mean, don't try to change the thinking, get things done. Most of the time, we wanted to change their thinking, but it's not the right strategy to do. I know. Yeah, what do you want from that particular person? You need to speak that language and get things done. Okay. Unless until that particular person that you're talking is about the core team and part of your second line, who's part of your vision building team, things of that sort. Those are the people that you need to really go out and start understanding how to change their thinking. In order to change the thinking, coaching could be another interesting exercise. You could probably try it out. It has to be worked on an individual level.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. I think you have shared some fantastic and brilliant answers for some of the tough questions. I know that our audience wants more and more ways in which they can get all their questions answered. So is there a way in which people can reach out to you, Nasser? If they have more questions, doubts, is there a way in which they can reach out through email so that I can share their email if they have? Is it okay to share your email?
So that please watch it? Yeah. They can share it on my email. Yeah. My email ID is Nassar.
Okay.
At e2excite.com.
E2excite. E-X-E-I-T.
E alphabet 2 numerical, again E alphabet, and then excite.com.
Okay, so guys, if you're just watching this show and if you want to get in touch with Nasser for any of your organizational requirements, you can just shoot an email to Nasser at e2excite.com. Okay,
yeah.
So he will be very happy to help you in your organization. I know that Nasser is a master storyteller, and you just tell him a challenge, he will come up with a story, because the easier way to handle any problem in the life is all about telling some fantastic stories. Okay. Thank you, Nasser. Thank you very much. I hope everyone watching this Facebook Live or the recorded version enjoyed this particular talk with Nasser, the most successful BNI Executive Director from Coimbatore, and also the founder of E2E Excite Corporate Events. He's a corporate executive coach. And, I can go on and on with him for another 1 hour also, and he can continuously talk a lot about various success stories. And probably one day we will ask him and invite him one more time to talk about some of the bad stories and failure stories also. So thereby, I personally believe failure is a better teacher than success. So we can actually learn a lot from failure also at the same time. So I should thank Nasser for investing your time and energy with us in this show. in helping all our BNI members, non-members, entrepreneurs who are watching this video to grow and scale up their business. Nasser, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure, and thank you all for your wonderful time. And I know some of the questions that you're asking is really motivating me to come up with so many answers. But with lack of time, we were not able to handle it. But definitely, we'll connect again.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
And also people who are just watching this, and so please do drop in your feedback and your comments below. And if you really believe this session has really helped you, you can help one more entrepreneur in your life by sharing this video in your timeline. And also you can share this video link in WhatsApp and circulate in WhatsApp so that your chapter members will also get benefited from this Facebook Live. So on behalf of Nasser and also on behalf of Murali, I should thank each one of you. Warm thanks for watching this video for such a long time, staying with us, and all the very best in building and growing and scaling your business to the next level. So I will see you in one more interesting next episode with one more successful executive director of BNI, so that he can also share his knowledge, his or her perspective with each one of us, which will help all the entrepreneurs to strengthen their business and strengthen their life. Thank you very much, Nasser, for being with us in today's show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining, and have a pleasant day and good night. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.